boy, oh boy. What the fuck did I just watch? G'day all. It's Paddy the Platypus here. I'm back with episode 2 of She-Hulk. Woohoo! So yeah, tonight I watched it a little bit later. My housemate was home. We went to the pub. We went for a pub feed. And it's sort of like I thought about it after work, the Savo, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, She-Hulk, Savo. And then it sort of slipped my mind. We had a few beers. I've had a couple of rums, and then we got home, and I was like, She-Hulk, I better watch it, hey. So I was like, oi, do you want to watch it with me? He goes, nah. After what I told him about last week, and I was like, nah, just watch it with me. It'll be fun. And he goes, righto, we'll watch it. So we watched it together, and holy shit, what a fucking episode. Let's just get into it. So they do the recap, they do the Marvel thingo, and then so the news is talking about with all the watercolor concept art. Anyway, so everyone's cheering for She-Hulk. Everyone wants She-Hulk. Anyway. Fuck, I'm now realising there's not as much to talk about this episode. I'll talk about some scenes that I fucking hated. Like the bloke who said, there's a hot chick over there, I'm gonna go talk to it. Fuck, that frustrates me. That's just, yeah, Anyway, so then, there was a scene that was just like, wow. It works really well into my Falcon and the Winter Soldier breakdown if you want to give that one a watch. Anyway, it's talking about She-Hulk, how she can't get a job and all this, that, and the other, and then they say, so she gets asked by a friend, you can become an Avenger or something. And she goes, the Avengers offer healthcare? Thanks to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, no. Do they offer maternity leave? A pension? Are they even paid? And it's just like, holy fuck, no, they aren't paid. And I think the joke is because she's a woman, she wouldn't get all this stuff. But thanks to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she would get none of it, even if she was a fucking man. Like, because they've fucked around so much with it. Anyway, she goes to a family dinner and they're all like, you're unemployed, ha ha ha. So your cousin here, he's employed. He's the manager of a Best Buy or whatever the fuck they say. Like that's the whole joke. Like the joke is that they are more proud of him because he's a manager of a Best Buy when she's unemployed. And they're like, I just find it's so cheap. It's so cheap because it's like he's clearly not a disappointment. There's nothing wrong working with Best Buy. Fuck, I work at a fucking cafe. Like, there's nothing wrong with working in like hospitality or retail or that sort of thing. But it's just like it's made out to be a joke. Like he's not going to go anywhere, which I just find so cheap. It's just a cheap laugh that I don't find warranted. Yeah, so she's like, I've come to the realization that I am happy with not being happy with the situation I'm in. And it's weird. Dad's telling her she's going to be okay. You're still standing. There's a Hulk in the family. It's fine. Anyway, she gets approached at a bar by, I'm just going to call him Reg. Reg from The Walking Dead. So Reg offers her a job. And was like, I'd like you to work in a special division for us. And she's like, yes, I'll take the job. Ha ha ha. And it's supposed to be funny, but it's not. And we'll skip over that because I just find it pointless. Anyway, she gets to a job and she's like, yeah. And Reg goes, righto, we started a superhuman law division and we're going to need you to be She-Hulk because, well, you're She-Hulk, you're going to be the face of it. And she's like, you're hiring me because I'm She-Hulk and you want me to be She-Hulk. And he's like, yep. And she's like, okay. And I was watching just thinking, is this supposed to be like a, what do you call it? Like a moment for her where she makes a decision, but she just changed into She-Hulk and she seems to be fine with it. Like that there's no real pushback, and it's like if this is supposed to be like a big character moment for her, you've just fucked it completely. Anyway, she gets told the person she'll be defending is Abomination. It'll be Emil Blonsky. And I knew this was happening, obviously from trailers and whatnot. And she's like, yeah, there'll be a conflict of interest, obviously, because he tried to kill my cousin Bruce. And he's like, yeah, but that doesn't matter. And it's like, no, that does matter, mate. Wait, mate, no, that is an issue. Like, even if he signs this fucking whatever he calls it, a conflict waiver. There's the court of public opinion. There is the jury that will be sitting in, obviously knowing this history, which will have, like, it's just, yeah, you can't just say you'll be signing a waiver and it's like, yeah, righto, it's all fine now. And it's like, no, that's not how it fucking works. Anyway, so she goes to see Abomination. She goes to see Emil. And he's like, yo, what's up? Like, I know I tried, she goes, oh, so you can, like, aren't you Abomination? I was expecting to see Abomination. He's like, no, I'm just Emil now. No, that's just me now. Like, I am just myself. Which I think it's a bit weird. There's no explanation that can, mind you, like, complete disclaimer, I haven't seen The Incredible Hulk in, I'm going to say, about 2 years now. But was that always, could he just transform himself at will, or was he like Hulk? Or is he now like She-Hulk and he can just change when he feels like it? I can't say that without smiling. Anyway, he talks about how he's completely transformed himself and he's a different person. He'd like her to represent him, and he's like, yeah, no, I understand. And he's like, yeah, no, but I was forced to try and kill him. Like, it wasn't my choice. They pumped me full of the super soldier serum, and she brings up the fact that it's like, yeah, but you attacked him in Harlem. Yeah, he says, I thought I was a good guy, this, that, and the other, because he was a decorated, like, hero, like, war veteran. He thought he'd become the new Captain America. And then he talks shit about Bruce, and about how he can be free, and he's considered a hero, but he has to be locked up in here, and it's like, oh, you've already fucked him. You've already fucked him as a character, unless he knows about the events of Endgame, and not only Endgame, but Infinity War as well, where it's Bruce / Hulk puts his life on the line for the rest of the world. As Hulk in Endgame, as much as I hate him as Professor Hulk in Endgame, he puts his life on the line to bring everyone back. Sure, he did some shit, and he paid the price for it. He was seen as, like, as bad as Age of Ultron was, he was seen as a villain for destroying the city, like, having that big fight when he just goes rampage in the city with Iron Man. Iron Man has to stop him in the Hulkbuster. He's seen as a villain, and there was no question about the fact that the Hulk was a bad guy for the most part. He was seen as a destructive menace. Although he was doing what he thought was best, both in Bruce and Hulk form. Anyway, to stop this ramble, he brings everyone back. I know Iron Man gets seen as the hero of Endgame, but it's Hulk's snap that brings everyone back. He sacrifices his arm, which gets fucking, like, shut upon in the first episode, but we're not going to talk about that. He brings everyone back in Endgame, and now he's fucking Abomination Emil talking about how he's seen as a hero and he's locked up meanwhile like Emil is locked up in prison. It's like, yeah, well, I kind of like the idea that Hulk redeems himself. So have you been living under a rock, mate? Anyway, fuck, this tangent's gone on a while. Let's keep going. Anyway, and then, Jennifer goes on about how he should feel sorry for his actions, this, that, and the other, which is fair. Absolutely fair. And then he talks about how he's been writing haikus and messages to all of his enemies. And fuck, that... I know I'm whispering. It's because I don't know what emotion to feel here. Like, angry? Disappointment? Man, it's just unfortunate. They don't... They get Tim Roth back. Tim Roth. One of the fucking... Like... Reservoir Dogs is one of, if not, in my top 3 movies. I reckon Tim Roth is an amazing actor. And you've got him back, and it's like, don't waste this. And they waste it. Oh man, I can't keep going. I can't keep going on that scene. Anyway, so, oh boy. Okay, so we get the scene of her calling, Jane calls Bruce about potentially representing Abomination, representing Emil. And God, I needed this scene to go another way. I needed Hulk to be like, every time, Hulk, she keeps talking. She's there like, hey, listen, I got a new job. It's representing Emil, this, that, and the other. And so she keeps talking, and Bruce keeps trying to interrupt to give his 2 cents, to input on what he thinks about it all. But she keeps cutting him off. And the whole time watching, I'm sitting there thinking, I need to hear what he has to say. It's important. It is so fucking important to hear what Bruce has to say about this whole situation. But he just keeps getting cut off because it's funny. And so in the end, he finally gets a word in. He goes, so you're telling me, it doesn't sound like you're asking me, it's like you're telling me that you're taking the job. And she goes, yeah, I'll take the job. And he goes, that's great, Jen. Actually, so, okay, here's his dialogue. I'm going to read it out. Actually, Blonsky wrote me a really nice letter a while back. A really heartfelt haiku. And we've put everything behind us. That fight was so many years ago. I'm a completely different person now. Literally. Like, is that a dig at Edward Norton Hulk? Or is that them not understanding the journey that Hulk has gone through? Like, that is fucking atrocious. I don't know. Do I keep talking about this? Hulk should be okay with it. Okay? I am fine with him being okay with it. But he should have input into how you go about talking to him, because he was nearly killed by him. He was nearly... Anyway, fuck. I don't know. Anyway, so he asks her what everyone's calling her, and she says, She-Hulk. And he laughs, and he goes, no, I love it. It's got a nice ring to it. She-Hulk, attorney at law. And when watching with my mate, I did the whole fucking, as a piss take, obviously, but as a piss take, I did the whole Leonardo DiCaprio clicking and pointing at the camera, or pointing at the TV while watching from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because it's like, man, is that ham-fisted. Like, you're doing that because it's like, that's the name of the show. I get it. Now I understand. Anyway, she goes, righto, you're not coming to LA soon, are you? And he goes, nah. What does he say? He goes, yeah, probably not for a minute. I got some things I gotta take care of and pan out. And you see that he's in space and he's on the Sakarian ship. Oh my god, look out. He's gonna fucking... Oops. He's gonna be... I don't even know what to say there. That's just like whatever. It's bait. That's all it is. It's bait. Anyway, she calls up Reg and says, "Righto, I'm taking the job. Personal conflicts have been resolved, and I guarantee you're getting my best work." It's like, okay, whatever. He goes, She says, "I've already got a winning strategy, 100% in the bag. You got my word. You want to take a..." And then he goes, "Oh, you want to take a look at the news right now, don't you?" And she goes, "Yeah, sure. Have a great evening, Reg." And then there's a news report showing Abomination in a fighting ring with Wong. I'm couldn't I could nearly say it's footage straight from Shang-Chi, but I don't want to rewatch that movie. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's footage straight out of Shang-Chi and fighting Wong in that fighting ring, and she looks at the camera and goes, "Oh, that sucks." And that's the end. So yeah, which leads me to two things. One, so this takes place before, the first two episodes take place before Shang-Chi. Which leaves me with so many fucking questions. So at the end of Shang-Chi, we see in the post-credit scene that Bruce is in Bruce form with the sling. Yeah? And then in this show, we find out that Bruce fixes why he's in Bruce form, so he's now as Professor Hulk form. So now, why? You fucked up your timeline, you fucking dumb fucks. Because he should, theoretically, in Shang-Chi post-credit scene, he would be Professor Hulk form. Or he should be, if we're going by Shang-Chi timeline, he shouldn't be back to Professor Hulk form yet. Like, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. You've fucked up one way or the other. It can't happen now. It can't happen either way. So I thought what they'd done in She-Hulk was try and fix the fact of Shang-Chi's post-credit scene, when in actual fact they've fucked themselves over, because now they have two different things going on with Hulk at different times. And this is only really, the full extent of this has only just come to me now while recording. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was her breaking the fourth wall. So I've seen on Twitter and on Facebook and all this other stuff of how she breaks the fourth wall in the comics. I really like it. What I've seen, I find it really interesting. Whereas here, all she's doing is looking at the camera and telling her in a monologue. And I just think it's cheap. Like, it's a cheap way to do breaking the fourth wall. Deadpool did it so much better with, like, it was looking at the camera and doing jokes, but it was also stopping time at moments. Like, it would actually freeze time to have a little bit of input, or he would, like, and even still, like, or even still, he would, even still in Deadpool, he didn't, like, they didn't utilize it. But I'm not saying it's bad there. Here at the moment, it's just like, she can break the fourth wall, so she looks at the camera and talks. That's all it seems to be so far. Whereas she was breaking it, like, from what I've seen, I haven't read any She-Hulk comics, but from what I've seen, she'd break out of the frame or the page, or like sort of look between panels and this, that, and the other. And I just find there's so much more you can do with the fourth wall and breaking it and how you break it. Anyway, that's me done, I think, for this episode. I'm gonna not sleep tonight. No, I have to sleep tonight. I got work tomorrow. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to try and whip something together here. No Daredevil again, which I think is gonna be a good thing. The less we get of him, the better. He mind you, if they're gonna ruin him, no, don't ruin him. Don't ruin him. See you next week.